Oh my goodness, is this? Oh my. No, come on. Bennington played great. Bennington played great. I mean, that's, I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm not there. I am not there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and Ashley just said it. We got 5 out of a possible 6 points. That's what I said we could get. That's what I said. And I'm going to stick by that. Now, did we blow 2 points? Yeah, we did. Okay, Ryan. Okay, I'm with you there. I'm with you. Let's bring in Mr. Brock Banner. How you doing, bro, buddy?
What's going on? You know what? I'm just getting a message from my Minnesota friend.
Yeah,
I'm getting a message from my Minnesota friend who wants to jump on.
Say again?
I'm getting a message from my Minnesota friend who wants to jump on.
Yeah, I sent her the link.
She's about to load it, so look for her.
Okay. Good. Yeah. So we're going to have a Minnesota journalist from the Hockey Writers join us.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this period.
Tonight.
Say again?
Of course, they want to join tonight.
Oh, yeah, of course, but that's great. It doesn't matter, but, we won the series. 5 out of 6 points. You won the series, and that's what you needed to do. Now, this extra point, or the 1 point, did something for Minnesota. They're locked in third. They cannot be less than third now. Nobody can catch them at third.
Well, nobody was going to catch them anyway, but
nobody was going to catch them anyways, but they are absolutely locked at third. I'm trying to set my camera a little bit better here. Hold on a second. Okay, so we are going to bring in, let me figure this out here. Whatever. Okay, we're going to bring in a special guest, and I hope I say this right. It looks like her name is Mariah Holland. Is that correct, Miss Mariah?
Yes.
Great. Well, welcome to
Hello,
the
Mariah.
Fan Report, Mariah.
Hi. Sorry, I'm on my phone, so it's kind of goofy.
That's all right.
No, you're fine, man. Good win for you guys. I got to say that. Good win. Down 3-1. You fought back. You did it 2 nights in a row. Last night we were able to get that extra point. Tonight you're able to get that extra point. But you lost the series. And that's got to weigh on you guys a bit, especially since you still got 2 more games against the Blues that could help determine second place.
Yeah, it's the last couple of games I wasn't too pleased with the outcomes. Obviously, tonight I was totally surprised. I was excited we were going to overtime and we came back, but I was like, okay, is this going to be a repeat of the last game? But that goal that Fiala got was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, so here's Ian, my Wild fan, who's been so quiet the last couple of days. Okay, Richard. Yes, you predicted it.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something right now.
Yes, sir.
I didn't like it, the Blues loss, but you know what? This was a hard-fought game.
Yep.
Both these teams, I think, are very evenly matched. If the Blues wouldn't have played so bad at the first part of the year, I think this could be a fight for third place. The Blues would be a lot closer to him. But I picked Fiala to be the guy, and I picked Minnesota to win 4-2. So I was a little bit off there. I thought Minnesota would win from the beginning, but you know what? The Blues played well in the first part of that third period. I thought they played really well. Minnesota, though, I thought stepped it up, and the Blues had to play even better in that first part of the third period. Bennington made some very good saves, but they really did put a lot of pressure on Bennington in that last half of that second period. And, I saw on Twitter somebody was blaming Bennington for that deflection goal. That was wicked.
Yeah.
That was wicked. I don't know any goalie. And you notice something? His glove almost got it. If his glove would have made that save, that would have been the biggest save all night long.
Oh, yeah. There's no way.
Hey,
there's no way.
First of all, I want to say hi to Mariah.
Hi.
Mariah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You're awfully brave to step into this place, man.
You've entered the asylum. We are crazy. We're nuts. And this is the show that is by a fan for the fan. And you got to know about you, the fan. We're going to have your comments. And I'm going to open the phone lines up here, not right away, but the way I'm going to open the phone lines up, you're going to have to send me through a phone call through Messenger. That's the easiest way. That way I know who's calling me. I don't put my phone number out. And then I can put your still do it by audio. Wait till I open the phone lines. Otherwise, I'm not going to open it yet. So there you go. Stand by.
Finish my thought, though.
Go ahead.
My thought is, and it's kind of a question for our visitor is, what the hell are you guys doing? You got nothing to play for. Why don't you just like let us go come into town? Where I mean, hey, we're old friends from the old days, man. I didn't understand what the Wild had really to play for.
We need the momentum, though. They can't get in that mindset where they can just sit back. And I feel like if they let up now, they're not going to push in playoffs. I mean, I know once you get to postseason, it's different. You care more. But I feel like they need to have those wins and keep that mindset going. Because otherwise it's like, why bother?
Yeah, and you know what, Mariah? They always have second place to look at. They want home ice advantage. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, home ice advantage doesn't matter when there's just a few thousand fans. Yeah, it still does matter. Sometimes in the playoffs it doesn't. We saw that, the year the Blues beat the Winnipeg Jets in that first round. They had home ice advantage and the Blues took it away from them. But that's what the Wild are playing for. The Wild are playing for that second place position.
Yeah, and they always this year has been a little different, but they've always had such success. And even this year without the fans, everyone was kind of thinking the Wild have had such a good home record in the past that this was going to drop. And they still, I don't know what it is about that building. I mean, I've been to games. It's an amazing atmosphere, but
it is.
They can play really well in that building. And I don't know if it's just the being familiar with the arena or just it's got some kind of magic they use.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a fun place to watch a game.
It is.
Out of a lot of the newer arenas, it's one that you still feel somewhat close to the ice. And it's when you get that place packed, just like the Enterprise Center, it's a very, very loud place. And I think the Wild are similar to the Blues. The Blues did win the Cup a couple years ago, but the Wild have some good young players, and they've got some very good veterans. It's a really good mix of players. And even in goaltending, you've got a veteran and a younger guy, which I think Talbot's been very good for him. Kakkonen in goal, and has taught him a lot of things. And like I said all year long, people really discounted Talbot because he was in Edmonton and played bad all those years. And I said, get him on a decent team and Talbot will be pretty good.
I won't lie. I was one of them. I wasn't extremely excited about Talbot. Nothing against him, but I was just like, what? What's going on? Why are we? But he's surprised me. He's played outstanding.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Mariah. This comes from Richard Campbell. He's one of my other hosts. You're taking his place today. He graciously backed out, so you could come on.
Well, thank you.
He wants to know, has Kaprizov played to your expectations this season?
He's exceeded them. He has got, I was hoping and praying for a decent player, to be honest, and I wasn't expecting a lot because I didn't want to get my hope shot down, but he's exceeded it. I am so excited to see how much better he'll do each year. He's incredible.
Yeah, and a lot of people come over after a year or two from the KHL, and you can kind of tell they don't have that pro experience. He played a lot longer in the KHL, and even though the KHL overall isn't as good as the NHL talent-wise, but it's not like he's a 21-year-old kid coming over to play. What is he, 24 now, I think, or 23?
Yep.
24.
Yeah.
Turned 24.
Yeah, and he's got experience. And, I like Robertson from Dallas. I think he's a really good kid, and he's really shown a lot these last couple of weeks especially. But if I had a vote, I would give it to Kaprizov, definitely, as Rookie of the Year on the calendar.
Yeah, I keep watching the points, and it's like, come on, keep getting points each game. I want you to win.
Has Minnesota, and I don't remember, has Minnesota had a Rookie of the Year since they've been in the league?
I don't believe so. I think the closest would have been Gabrick, and I'm pretty sure he didn't exceed that.
Yeah, I know the North Stars had. I think the North Stars had a couple.
The North Stars did, but I don't think the Wild.
No,
I don't
I
think
can't think.
that
That would be great for them. And And, we're upset that we lost, but you know what? At least we didn't lose to a bad team in this fashion. At least it's a team that we know is good from top to bottom. And hey, we got a point. You guys got 2, but at least we got a point out of it. You can't expect to go into a place like Minnesota and win 3 in a row. You just can't. If you do it, man, you're doing pretty damn good. But 2-1 and getting 5 out of 6 points, I think it's a victory for the Blues.
Oh, no, absolutely. This is still it's a loss, but it's not a loss.
Yeah.
You still have a what is it? 5-game point scoring streak right now, right? Yep. You have the Ducks coming up, right? In St. Louis. Or no, are we at the Ducks?
I thought we were at the Ducks.
No, the Ducks are home. The Ducks are home.
Yeah, the Ducks are home.
We're at Vegas. I got something fun for the Vegas game. Actually, now I might be a little disappointed. I had talked to Scott Anderson, Layla's dad, and I was told that if the Blues won, Layla would come on Saturday.
Oh.
But I'm going to kind of push and say 5 out of 6 points. Come on. I'm going to take a little help. I'm going to hope we can get that on there. I think you know who Layla is, right?
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah. So I know her. I know her family. I was actually one of the first people that really brought her cause out. So I have a connection with them. So that's neither here nor there. But let's see, man. We got Vegas. We've got the 2 games against Ducks and then Vegas. So our magic number only drops by a point. So it's down to 8 now. But you never know what's going to happen tonight. No. You've got the Kings and the Kings facing off against the Ducks.
The Ducks.
Right? There you go. And the Ducks beat them last night.
The Knights are up 1-0 on the Coyotes. I just got the alert. They're up 1-0.
And San Jose. Yep, San Jose was losing pretty badly. So,
yeah. Well, that's not surprising.
I was going to ask you, Mariah. Mariah, did you play hockey?
I did,
cool.
and I actually still do occasionally. So,
are you a forward or defense?
Left wing.
Left wing.
We got a winger.
Got a winger.
Lance is a goalie. Watch it. He's the goalie.
And Mariah, I'm sure with all the people you've played against, that goalies are very strange people. A lot of us we're weird. I will say that. We're not like defensemen or right wing, left wing, or centermen. We have our own little personalities and quirks.
Yeah, one of my best friends was a goalie, and she loved whenever I'd try to screen her because she'd nail me in the back of the legs.
I love that. That little tap right behind the knee or right in the bottom part of the leg. That feels really good.
A few times she got swung back at because I wasn't in the mood for it. But
wow. Hey, Mariah, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Mariah, okay, because we're so local here and we get so hung up on certain players. Who is it from your standpoint that you're concerned about, when you played the Blues? Like, who stands out that you're like, man,
very good question.
This guy, I'm not sure. Who stands out?
There's a couple of them. Honestly, O'Reilly has really been lately. And I've always liked Tarasenko. But I guess Binnington too, because he's such an outstanding goalie. It's so hard to score on him.
Yeah.
And I mean, those 3, I guess, kind of. I don't follow the Blues as much as I used to. I followed them a lot when they had Backus, and Perron is still there, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I really love Fiala, Dumba, whatever you want to call him. And and I also like Suter. I think Suter's getting older, and so is Parise. Yeah. But they're both. I mean, they've got some good veterans, and it would be great. It would be so much fun in my mind to see the Blues upset Colorado or the Knights in the first round, and then have Minnesota come in and play us in the second round. That would be so much fun. I think that'd be a 7-game series.
I think so.
Yeah,
they play so similar that
they do, very similar.
Yeah, very, very, very true. So I was looking at some of the stats.
Success against Vegas, right? Vegas, you guys have been pretty much okay against the Wild.
Yeah, they played 6 games. I just put this in my article, so I remember it. Okay. They've won, I think, 4 out of the 6, and they even stole 2 in Vegas, which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah,
so
I think they're 4-1-1. Wasn't there an overtime loss?
Yeah. Yep, and then a shootout win, I think.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
So Greenway had a good
Greenway's
series.
a good player.
Greenway-
He's a really
The-
good player.
The big rig,
Right.
as we call him.
Well, here's the story of this game. If you remember, I talked about D-zone turnovers in the second being almost even. 16-8. The Blues had 16 D-zone turnovers. So they turned it over a lot. The hits were 23-19 for the Blues. Chances were 19-16 for the Blues. They had Wild had 53 attempts to the Blues 44, 38 shots to 31. They ended up winning the faceoff battle 32-27. Good solid game all the way around. No, for you look at this whole series and it kind of went back and forth. This game mirrored game one.
Yep.
You know, it mirrored game one, and then you had game three that or game two that kind of bounced between the two games.
Mm-hmm.
So these are very evenly matched teams. I could see that. I don't see, you know, if the Blues, you know, steal, you know, shock somebody, I could easily see them and Minnesota playing for the division. I really could. They've got, both teams are solid. Vegas and the Avalanche are not as far above everybody else as they think they are, right?
Mhm.
The Blues points and the Avalanche points and Vegas's points don't show the talent difference in the teams, in my eyes. And I think that these four teams are a lot closer talent-wise than we're given credit for.
Yeah, and I think Brock and I will agree. I'd rather see them play Colorado in the first round than the Golden Knights. I think they know Colorado better. They've had some really good games against the Avalanche, and I think it's either hit or miss with them against the Knights. They either play really well against them and they have a really good game, or they lose 3-1, 4-1. It's never somewhere in the middle. It's not like these Wild games where they're very close and very competitive. They'll either get blown out and you can see they're going to get blown out, or they play them really close. I would much prefer to see the Avalanche in the first round than I would the Vegas Golden Knights.
Right. Yeah. So Richard Campbell brings up something pretty big. I want to read this real quick. Biggest X factor for the Blues entering playoffs, Bennington. He plays decent. They could upset. I absolutely agree with that. See if you agree with this one, Mariah. The Wild X factor is Prezi, and I'm probably saying that wrong. Prezi, right? Prezi. If he recovers some magic, the Wild will have depth.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my mic was cutting out. You were asking about Parisi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think if he can a few weeks ago he was finding some scoring and seemed to be doing better. If he can keep finding that, and ever since he came back from his COVID break, he was playing a lot better than I thought he did in the beginning of the year. But he's so up and down right now that I like him, don't get me wrong. It's just I wish he'd find his consistency again.
Yeah. And you know, Mariah, that's what happens with a lot of guys when they start getting older. One good example here is Steen. I think the last contract he signed, he was good for 2 to 3 years of it. But his last couple of years, he was really up and down. You know, one game he'd be really good. The next game, you didn't hear from him. But he came up big for them in the playoffs in 2019. And I'm not a Steen fan, but when he played at his best, kind of like Parise, you definitely loved him. But when he played at his worst, you really didn't like him very much.
Yeah.
And can I just point out, early in the season, Parisi was a guy that I know you and I kind of talked about, that he was kind of a veteran that, you know, had some leadership and had some presence for the locker room. And I think we talked early in the season, we may have been 2 weeks in or 3 weeks in. And, you know, it really kind of, that veteran leadership is so important this time of year. So I definitely think he would be one of the X factors. But I think the other thing is, can Kaprizov score? I mean, you need him to score goals. And he's been nibbling, but he hasn't had the big success that everybody kind of expects him to have.
Well, I agree. Hey, everybody, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You are watching the Blue Note Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're brought to you today by War Stories Coffee, Mike Zook Enterprises, and my prime sponsor, Forrest Crump Enterprises. If you need any construction done in the bi-state area, give Forrest Crump a call. They'll give you an estimate and get the job done. I'm joined today by the hockey writers, first from Brock Banner, also STLFanReport.com, and my special guest, Mariah Holland, and then Lance Scott from the Drop Hockey Podcast. So we're going to go ahead and open the phone lines. If you want to get a hold of me, send me a Facebook Messenger audio only, and I will bring your calls in as they come in if I can. So as we're going on, let's talk about. So the X factor in today's game was the ability of Minnesota to get through the Blues defense late. Because early the Blues had a really stifling defense. The first period, Minnesota couldn't get much done. They made an adjustment and got through it in the second. Did a little better in the second, got through it in the third. What is going forward? What do each team need to do in the last 2 games of the season as you're setting up for the playoffs? What are their adjustments that they need to make right now? I'll start with you, Lance.
Well, in my mind, I don't think Minnesota really played bad in this series, even in the 2 games that they lost. I just think the Blues played better than them more consistently throughout the whole game. I think the Wild, like I said, Talbot's there, Kekkonen's there. They've got good goaltending, and Husso played well in his last game. He's played well off and on for the Blues. I think the key for the Wild, I would like to see Zuccarello come out a little bit more and get going a little bit better scoring, because he's one of those guys that's kind of a streaky guy. He'll score a couple goals and then you don't hear from him for a while, like I'm sure Mariah will attest to that. But I think he needs to get going to help them out, and Parise needs to keep doing what he's doing, and I think they'll be successful. The Blues, I think it's kind of a passing of the torch. Nothing against O'Reilly and some of the older guys like Perron, but I think this end of this year and going into the playoffs, if the Blues can get that Hoffman, Kyrou, and Thomas line to continue to gel, I think it's going to be deadly in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely agree. Hey, Christian Harris, welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. His comment was, we had a good 55 minutes and a bad 5. He came up with this quote. Now, I'll read it real quick and we'll talk about it later. He said there's more to the game than just the score, and he was talking about that when it comes to O'Reilly from earlier that we were talking about. So, Mariah, I want to know what you think. What adjustments do Minnesota need to make going into the playoffs?
Honestly, it's kind of been a broken record. I always say it. They need to shoot more. They get,
Mariah, we say the same thing about the Blues, and I know a lot of fans see that, but I've heard that from other Wild fans. Just shoot the puck more. Stop trying to look for the pretty pass or the perfect shot. Just put the puck on net.
And I talked about it with Rob on the one Zoom call I did earlier. It's like we were talking about Kaprizov and shooting more, and the fact that he's young, so he doesn't necessarily want to do all that.
He doesn't want to take charge. He wants to. He doesn't want to look like he's taken over.
And it's like, go ahead and do that.
Yeah,
you've got the talent. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm sure Parise and Dumba and all them guys are saying, just shoot it. Don't worry about it. Just shoot the dang puck.
But yeah, I think that in their power play, they've gotten a little bit better on their power play recently, but that could really use some work.
Yep.
So what do you think, Brock? Where are you at, bud?
Well, for me, I think the big question mark for the Wild is, goaltending. Cam Talbot, he's not someone I think I don't see him as a cup-winning goalie, and Kekkonen, he's young. You just don't know. He's either going to be spectacular. He could go on a Bennington type of run like we had, or he could, kind of become Swiss cheese. And I think that's a really difficult position to put, because again, I think what we saw, once the game goes bad, the Wild just fell apart in that 9-1 loss. We just started pouring it on, and I don't know if they just gave it up or what was going on. And that's a small sample. I'm not trying to even say that's indicative of the series, but you have to kind of wonder, like when they got the second goal on Kekkonen, what happened? Did he just kind of fell apart? So I know Lance is my goalie guy. I don't like to talk about goalies because I'm just the fat guy in the stands with the beer. So that's my role. You wingers and you centers and all that.
I'm the skinny guy in the stands with the beer. This is fun conversation, guys. So we got Caitlin Roach here in the chat room, says, I'm a fan of the Ducks, but I want to see the Blues in the playoffs. Please tell me Solres and the Ducks won't ruin the Blues' chances. I honestly don't think they will. And right now the Ducks are paying the Blues a favor. They're one up on the Kings 1-0, and the Knights are up on the Yotes 1-0. Both of those are at the first intermission.
Yep.
Really great. They're asking if Mariah is related to Jeremy. I don't think so. We have one of the guys that comes on our show, the Arizona. No, Jeremy. Which Jeremy am I talking about now? I'm lost now. Figures.
Well, I'm not
I
going
have
to
a Jeremy, don't I?
So
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Go ahead. Hey, Mariah, making yourself popular with the fans. Say, you would never step foot in that shithole, Missouri, ever if you ever had the chance. I'll say it for you.
Hey,
Oh, no. She's
Hey,
not going to say that. Actually,
No.
I have to praise Minnesota because I love the state of Minnesota, a lot of fishing, and the only scholarship I was offered, Division I, was to Minnesota Duluth back in 1987-88. It was a partial scholarship, and my parents couldn't afford to pay the rest. I had no other offers from D2 schools, nothing. So my parents couldn't pay for my board or any of that, so I did not go to college.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, hey, me either. Well, I went to the college of Uncle Sam and Big Gray Boats.
But I love Minnesota. I'm a big fisherman. Fishing and hunting is huge up there too. A lot of great lakes to go to up there. So I love the state personally.
well, I actually am personally a fan of Parisi because I went to the University of North Dakota. So,
So I forgot Jeremy from Fox Sports or the Fox podcast. My producer. I forgot my own producer.
Yeah, Jeremy Holland.
And
yeah,
I just want to let you out. Like in my former job, I worked for a food service company, and the headquarters was up in Minneapolis. So I got to spend a lot of time and went through the Twin Stadium and looked at the food service and stuff.
Was that
like
Schwann's? Was that Schwann's?
No, it was a Bon Appetit is what it was. A company called Bon Appetit.
You just made me hungry.
They do they do all the sweets and stuff.
Yeah,
and
They're
really had
the
a good
caterers.
time in Minneapolis. Love the crew up there that put Bon Appetit. So just wanted to give my shout out to Minneapolis, and they have offices right there by the Mall of the America, right across there. So had a good time. You guys got a great city.
I will say I love Schwann's. The truck goes by my house at least twice a week, and I really need to start ordering from them.
Excellent pizzas. Their pizzas are the same pizzas as Jack's and Red Baron Pizzas. It's the same company that makes all three.
Nice.
No, TJ's Pizza.
TJ's Pizza is pretty dang good.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, Guido says that he went to UND and graduated in 06.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
2016.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So, okay, let's move on a little bit more. Hey, guys, the phones are open, man. If you want to call in. Nobody's calling in. We've got, go ahead.
Mariah,
go ahead, Brock.
About the coach, the Dean Evenson's been considered maybe a coach of the year candidate, Jack Adams. What's your impression of him? I mean, he's kind of kept that crew going this year, where Craig Berube has been kind of under a lot of pressure this year. Seems like Dean Evanson's getting a lot of praise for the job he's done.
Yeah, personally, I love him as a coach. I like that he's willing to. I mean, Garen's done a lot of help with when they benched Parisi and stuff, but I think the fact that they're willing to do that, nothing against Parisi at all, but the fact that they're willing to say, look, this is the direction we want to take the team. We need to address these things. I like that they're not just kind of standing aside and just letting things happen. They're actually getting in there and involved and this is my team. This is how I want it to go. And yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for us, and I'm sorry for you too that you guys had to put up with Mike Yo. I talked to a few. I talked to a few players from there, and I'm not going to name them, but they told me when he was hired here, they said you're going to have issues with him. He's going to wear down the locker room, and they're going to stop listening to him. Because I was told by a couple of those veterans that's exactly what happened to him in Minnesota. His message got old. His yelling and his ranting at practices got old because he did it every practice. And they just got a little tired of him. So
I personally like him, but
he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Hey, Mariah, I'm telling you what, I figured it out. Lance and Guy want to campaign to be the next coach of the Blues. That's why they're so down on Berube. So why doesn't he run the power play? I got this whole scandal worked out.
Stop. I'm stopping you right there. I thought I made a really good case. No. I made a really good case about what my feelings are on Berube. There's a point where the same old has to come from the coach, right? And you see it, and it's not just this season. You see it all the time. The stuff that Yo did in Minnesota translated to St. Louis. It was the same thing. It was the same damn players. It was the same damn players that Yo had at the beginning of the season that won the cup. Same damn players, right? And okay, so you're going to blame the players with Yo there? It's the same situation.
I think
Mike
Yo's a great assistant coach. He really is. When he's just got a couple things to focus on, he's really, really good. Like he was in Pittsburgh. He was part of that Stanley Cup winning team, one of their teams, and he's a great assistant coach. I just think that he's one of those guys that in today's game, his personality and the way he goes about things just doesn't work the way it maybe would have in the 70s and 80s. I do like him. I've known people that know him personally away from the game, and they say he's a very nice, generous guy, one of the guys you just like to sit down and talk to. But I've heard players that play for him say some other things. So, I don't hate the guy. I just think he made some mistakes here. And you know what? And like Guy and I and Brock have discussed, it was terrible to bring him in as coach in waiting. I think that's unfair to do to any assistant coach, because you want to make those players your own, even as being assistant head coach. And you've got Hitchcock on one side wanting to make him his own. That's too confusing. So I do feel sorry for him in that aspect, but I don't want to hate on the guy. Like I said, he is a nice guy off the ice.
Well, hey, we got a phone call. Let me bring in Ashley Jones. Ashley, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay,
guys.
what you got, Ashley?
Great.
Okay. It doesn't mean that you or Lance want to be the next coach. You're just calling Berube out because the only way anyone can improve is to say no, their fault. And
Ashley,
Berube
we love
has
you.
faults when it comes to making adjustments, just like you and Lance both said. So, Brock, cool your jets on that one, bud.
You know what, Ashley? Thank you so much for calling in.
Hey, Ashley, I told you I'd give you something. I don't know if I can afford you after that much praise.
Oh, wow. Woo!
Jeez.
Oh, my goodness. Cool your Jets.
You know
I'm
what?
waiting for him to come back
Brock.
with that. If you've ever
The
seen the
referee
movie
got
Mr. Baseball, Jets
Yeah.
temperature just fine.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the referees are getting a break finally. They used to get beat up on the show every other game.
Not from
So
me.
You know
gone
what?
for different things.
Not from me.
This series they did. Now I want to ask from Mariah's standpoint. Do you think this series that the referees did a better job? The officiating was better than it has been.
This one. Yeah.
Probably. I'll be honest, I didn't pay too much attention to the refs. But I mean, I didn't notice anything that was outstanding that they did wrong. And
You just made my point. We didn't pay attention to the refs.
You didn't hear anything about the refs. You didn't
hear
them.
anything.
That's the way it's supposed
That's
to
true.
be. That's the way it's
In
supposed
other
to be.
games that we've seen this year, the refs have been a story. And I know Brock hates blaming on the refs, but when the ref is the story, there's a problem.
Yeah, but
There's a
guy,
problem, and that's
it's
what I go off of.
It's like I tell you, it evens up. Bad calls even up. Good calls even up. Unless it's just so blatant. I normally try to stay away from blaming the refs because they're just part of the game. They make judgment calls, and a lot of the NHL's policies allows them to make those judgment calls. And if you're a team that loses 4-3 or 4-2, and you blame the refs for your loss, but then you look in the mirror and realize you didn't play a good game, you need to just shut up because it wasn't the refs' fault.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that it
You know
goes
what?
both ways, and I
Hey,
get that.
Take the refs out of it. Play better.
All right. Hey, everybody, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the BlueNote Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Please do not forget to put those thumbs in the air. Give us a like. Give us a shout out. Let us, everybody, know that you enjoy the BlueNote Fan Report. We're brought to you by Forrest Crump Enterprises, War Stories Coffee, and Mike Zook Enterprises. You need that jersey. You need that shirt for your company outing. You're having a reunion. Get a hold of Mike Zook at MikeZook.com. He'll take care of you. I'm joined today by my special guest, Mariah Holland, from the Hockey Writers for the Minnesota Wild. Now, we asked you a little bit earlier, Mariah, about the Coach of the Year. Now, for me, I got to give it, at the beginning of the year, very few people thought Minnesota was going to have the year they've had. Very few. Right. And I think even in the Minnesota media, they had you guys in 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th. Nobody had you in 3rd. So with that being said, and I want to know from you, has this team played beyond your expectations for this season?
I would say yes. I mean, honestly, I'm one of those few that's always optimistic and hoping that every single year we'll win the cup because I just have that. But honestly, yeah, they've played. I mean, the team has really come together and worked together, and they've had a lot of chemistry that they've just made it work, and they've managed to find ways to win. Even when they get down in the beginning, they come back. So they've really surprised me.
So Kaprizov gets his win against us, but he's given up 14 goals in the last 2 games he's played against the Blues. That's got to be somewhat of a concern for Minnesota.
Yeah.
How do you polish it? I don't know.
You know, I mean, 14 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
I'm a goalie, and I'm not concerned for him. You have those games. That's how these young guys learn. Was it just terrible? Giving up 9 goals?
Actually, I'm on 13 goals. 13 goals.
Yeah. Giving up 9 goals in 1 game. Is it terrible? Heck yes, it's terrible. But that's how these guys learn. You know, you learn more from your losses than you do your wins, honestly, as a goalie.
That's true.
And a lot of teams are the same way. So, hey, is he Martin Brodeur? Is he Dryden? Is he Patrick Waugh? No, but I think he's a good goalie, and I'm not concerned for the Wild going in the playoffs with him as a backup or a guy that can step in if Talbot, starts falls behind 2-0 or something. I don't know, Maria, are you really concerned about it?
Not really. I mean, honestly, Kakkonen, the first time he came in, I think Dubnyk was out with a family. It was a couple years ago.
Yep,
I think Dubnyk was out with a family emergency, and Stalock got hurt, and he played phenomenal. Like, brand new rookie goalie. We're all expecting, okay, we're gonna lose some games. He surprised the heck out of everybody, and I think he seems to do well under pressure. I mean, like, these last couple games, they're in the playoffs already. He might not feel the pressure to really focus that much. And I mean, the 9-1 loss, I think that was a lot to do with their defense gave up too. He didn't have anyone helping him out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too concerned. I think if it came down to it, he can step up and play.
Okay, fair enough. So Brian Green has a great question. Do any of you have a routine on game day or a good luck jersey or hat that you wear to each game? I'll start with Lance on that one.
I used to have a routine as a goalie. I would wake up early in the morning and I would put my pads on and I would sit and eat breakfast in my pads and sit there for a couple hours, and then I'd take everything back off and I would sit down and watch TV, and then I'd take an hour nap before the game, and then I'd wake up and get to the arena about an hour and 15 minutes ahead of time. And I was always the first one dressed and always the first one on the ice. So that was my routine. Right now, I just have a routine that I'm happy I wake up every morning. So that's my routine.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you there, Brock?
Well, you know what? As you and I have talked about, I'm a military veteran. You're a military veteran. I have so much respect for people that have gone before us. As you can see, the flag of my father, who was a Navy man. So every day I look at that just to give thanks for all those who have served. But this is my jersey. This is my game jersey. I have the other O'Reilly All-Star jersey, but this is the one I really like because it represents the men in service. And again, from the bottom of my heart and for my family, just really appreciate all the sacrifices people have made, including yourself, Guy, and other people in the military. So,
yep. Hey, thank you. And Mariah, you?
Oh, where do I start? I was probably more in the personality of a goaltender when it came to routines. I would always, so when my parents would drive me, I'd always have my headphones in. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I always had the same playlist going on. I usually had a good luck shirt even, and I'd put my gear on the same way. Like, I'd get half dressed, from the bottom down, whatever, walk out, watch whatever game was before us, go back in, get ready, listen to more music, and just I'd kind of zone everybody out until we went on the ice. So,
well, for me now, for doing this, I actually, it's not a set routine, but it is a routine. I take care of the pick'em contest. I make sure that it's up. I check how many people have got in. I set up the show. I set up my guest. And then when I go to the arena, and Lance has seen this, or he knows about this, I don't take one jersey to the arena. I take 3. I wear one jersey per period. I change them out. Right?
Jeez, are you sweating?
No. So what happened is when I went to the game in Vegas in 2017, 18, that first game I'd been to in a while, I didn't get a chance to wear my jersey. So I bought like 3 jerseys so I could wear different jerseys while because I was sitting right behind the glass. So I knew I had a chance of being on TV. I wanted to be able to spot myself wearing a different jersey. And so I did it there, and it was a good game. And when I went to St. Louis, I started doing it there. And COVID, I couldn't because I could bring a bag in with my jerseys in it. And everybody thought it was just cool that here I was, and they'd be looking for what jersey I would put on next. So that's my thing to do at the game. If I can, I bring 2 or 3 jerseys and I switch jerseys.
Hey, Lance, you know what happened?
What?
You know what happened is tall guy rubbed him out, said, I don't need that kind of competition around here.
Remember, Brock, we got to watch what that word means. So, please. Hey, I've got to tell you a funny story. You all know that the last number I wore as a goalie was number 88. So I was number 88 before Vasilevsky ever thought of being number 88. I wore it. Do you remember the Blues got their 3rd jerseys, the blue ones with the round circle in the middle? It's the St. Louis Blues. Dark blue.
Yeah.
I got that jersey first game it came out. It was available that night. I went down and bought it, had them put Descott on the back, number 88. And I'm sitting, and there's a guy behind me who had just got married that day. And instead of going out with his wife, was at the Blues game with his brothers. He showed up drunk as a skunk, and he was in an unlimited club seat. So he kept drinking. He's sitting there and he's sleeping. He's sleeping like this and he's snoring, and I'm laughing. And all of a sudden he looks at my jersey and he goes, Descott, number 88, right wing. Good vision, bad shot. Not going to be in the NHL. And then put his head back and fell asleep. And then 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, threw up everywhere, all over his brother. They were all so upset with him. They carried him out. The security had to come down and help them carry the guy out. It was funnier than heck to me.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, this is a great show. Guys are.
You know what? Hey,
go ahead.
I want to ask Mariah, because we've talked about this before. You know, the Wild's jerseys are, really high selling, and a lot of people really like them. What's the feeling in the city? What are people buying? They like the retro, or what's going on with their jerseys?
The retros have been huge, and I personally I'm super jealous of Aaron from the Hockey Writers for the Wild team. He has a reverse retro Kaprizov jersey.
Cool.
And I've wanted that. I'm like, because I'm getting married in October, so I joked to my fiance, I'm like, you could get me that for a wedding present.
Hey, there you go.
Hey,
congratulations, by the way.
One of the best gifts I ever got as an anniversary present is this old Coho jersey that I'm wearing from the mid-90s that my wife got me for our anniversary, and it's one of my favorite things she's ever given me. So a hockey gift, whether it's a wedding gift, whether it's an anniversary gift, birthday gift, whatever, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever, it's a great gift.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
When are you getting married? When are you getting
October.
married?
Oh,
so that could be in the season. I mean, will you have the screen going? You have the screen with the TV?
Yeah.
She's getting married that afternoon and going to the game that night, more than likely.
Hey,
had COVID not happened, my bachelorette party was supposed to be at a Wild game.
Oh,
there you go. Well, hopefully by October, the NHL has come out and said they plan on having full arenas on October 15th.
Yep.
Right. And and I use that date because that's the date that they're targeting for the start of the season. Now it could be a little earlier, but they're targeting the 15th. They're targeting from the 12th to the 15th. So I'm going to the back end of that. But hey, you never know. You might still get your lucky night and get a puck or get a puck in the mouth and lose a tooth before your wedding.
No, you don't want to do that. No.
Honestly, my guests would not be surprised one bit.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great.
Hey, Mariah, first of all, I want to thank you.
That's a good look for a bride, a hockey bride.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Mariah, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the BlueNote Fan Report. I hope you've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I have.
we've got the two games. We got the two games at the end of the season. Maybe we can get you on for the pregame and then the postgame, because I know you need to pay attention during the intermissions for your stories and that, but maybe we can bring you on for the pregame and postgame at the end of the season.
Yeah, if I'm not working, I'd love to.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
We would love to have you. So let's get into some of our last thoughts as we're getting ready to come out of here. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the BlueNote Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm joined by Lance DeScott from the Drop Hockey Podcast, Brock Banner from the Hockey Writers and St. Louis fanreport.com, and Maria Holland from the Hockey Writers for the Minnesota Mariah Holland. Sorry, I've seen it really quick.
That's okay.
From the Hockey Writers Minnesota Wild. And we're brought to you today by Forrest Crump Enterprises, Mike Zook Enterprises, and War Stories Coffee. This is coffee.
One quick thing after. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you so quickly there.
No, go ahead.
Mariah, do you have a Twitter username that people can follow you on?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Hockey Craze 99.
Okay.
There you go. You can follow her there.
Sorry,
and,
Guy.
So let's get into some last thoughts here, starting with Lance. Some final thoughts as we get ready for the game on Monday night.
Final thoughts. I'm very happy with the 3 games. We won 2 and took the other one into overtime and lost. And I'd love to see them win it. But I think against a good team like the Wild, I think the Blues aren't happy with the loss, but I think they'll go home and look at it as a successful road trip to Minnesota.
I agree. Brock, last thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm trying to be excited about it, but the fact is they get, they had the game and they they're letting these teams get in it, and they don't have the killer instinct. They have that old sound clip about, sticking it in their eye and turning it and killing them. And they're not doing that. And that concerns me here at this point in the season, that, whether the Wild's a good team, I get it. But at some point when they were up, 3-0 the other night, they really should have twisted the knife. And that's what I'm not seeing from them. And I think to really contend for the Stanley Cup, they have to start putting teams away early and getting the reinforcements in who are a little bit easy, a little bit more rested and what's so have you. The big guys on this team are playing big minutes and big heavy minutes, and I think that's going to be taking a toll on them.
I agree.
Okay. Good information there. So, hey, I'm going to show your Twitter here, Mariah. It's up on the screen. So last thoughts for you, Mariah. What are your thoughts on this series?
I'm just happy we finally came out with a win, because those first 2 games were I was not in a good mood at all. But they played well, not as good as they could have played, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, it's kind of late for that now. But they just gotta figure out scoring and keep the pressure going. Don't let up, especially towards the end of the season. You want as much momentum going into playoffs as you can. Going in on a loss isn't as great as going in on a win.
No, I agree. So at the beginning of the series, I said you need 4 points and you could possibly steal a 5th.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the middle game was your steal game. That this was your automatic win game. I'm glad that they got that 2 points and that this ended up being the steal game. I'm not happy with the way that third period ended, but it wasn't a bad third period. It really wasn't. The Blues didn't as much go into a prevent defense. Has Minnesota stepped it up and the Blues didn't respond. So there's a lot of that in my eyes with this. Bennington played very well tonight. I'm not going to fault him for, I think, maybe 1 goal tonight. And I'll take that. You gave up 1 goal that you're not supposed to. Okay. I'll take that. The goal that tied it, that stick down there like that no one's stopping that. No one's stopping that. That shot's going towards the corner. Or that pass is going to the corner. There's no way any goalie's ever going to expect that puck to make a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn into the net. And that's exactly what it did. This has been, I got to say, guys, and Mariah, thank you for joining us tonight. Yes. The last week has been in some amazing shows. Shows. And I have some really great stuff set up for next week. So Monday night, I have a pregame show. Anna's going to join us. Brock's going to join us. And Lance may join us, or we'll have Richard with us if need be. We'll have a good pregame show. Tuesday is my lady night show. And Mariah, I might have an open spot if you'd like to come and join us. Are you Central or Eastern?
Yeah, I'm Central. Yep.
So it'll be 9:00 Central Time on Tuesday. I'll send you a tweet and let you know what's going on. I have one person that might have to pull out on me, but we're going to have ladies' night and we're going to let the ladies talk hockey. Right.
Okay.
And trust me, my guys know how to behave now. They got scolded. In the pregame show.
They should have been.
Did they get scolded?
No, they should have been. They should have been. They deserved it. Some of the remarks I seen were just terrible, and I'm glad that you handled that. And you handled it in a very professional manner.
Well, I thank you for that. I was really worried about that. I was glad.
We try to be really respectful here, Mariah.
Yep.
Mariah, we just try to be very respectful and represent all the fans and not be condescending. So
I'm
glad people behave.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I came up with the whip today. I brought the whip out. So the Ducks ladies going to join me on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I have ladies night on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have the pregame with Caitlin from the Ducks, and I'm not sure who else. It's Caitlin, right? Caitlin Roach from the Ducks, and then on Thursday, yes, Lance, this show is the BlueNote Fan Report, which is hockey based, but the St. Louis Fan Report, which supports this show, is sports based. And we're going to bring in a guy who knows all about Steamer soccer. We're going to talk some soccer. We're going to talk some Steamers, some St. Louis City, and Steamers had two periods in St. Louis. Right? I think there was the MLS back, or
there's only one that counts. Only one that counts.
The original in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they had another indoor league. We're going to talk some of that, and then Friday, I just might have a very special pregame guest.
Oh, you don't have to say that about me, Guy.
And Lance, this one's got you beat. Scheduled to appear, and I can
They
say
all have
this.
me. They all have me beat. Go ahead.
Okay. No, they don't. Scheduled to appear on the pregame show, Gary Unger.
Awesome.
Scheduled to appear on the pregame show on Friday, Gary Unger. Scheduled. It could change, but scheduled to appear is Gary Unger. And then possibly Layla on Saturday. This is going to be a fun week for the BlueNote Fan Report. Guys, I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining. And Lance, you're always number one in my heart, right? You're my Bobby Plager.
Sometimes I
Number
feel like
number 3.
sometimes I feel like a big pile of number 2, so I appreciate that number 1.
Oh, I have
you like number 3 or 4?
like a pile of number 2.
Hey, as long as I'm top 5, I'm happy.
I got to throw that in there. There we go. Mariah, did you have a good time today?
I did. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you're more than welcome. And if we can bring you on, if Ladies Night is open, I'd love for you to come on and give that other perspective. This is what hockey's all about. This is what hockey's all about. And this is what I'm all about. I'm 4,300 miles away from the center of Blues hockey. And
Dude,
you
he
guys
lives
are
in
my
Honolulu.
connection.
He lives in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm in Honolulu. I'm the Hawaii Blues fan, and that's why. So thank you all. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha, mahalo, and you got to know that I am bleeding blue with you, and I cannot wait to see you on the next BlueNote Fan Report on Monday pregame show. Aloha, mahalo, and aloha.